Alright, we've got a serious problem with this car. Right, first serious problem with the Zoe. So it's been quite hot and it's also been quite wet recently, and one of the things that we've noticed is that we're now getting water coming into the car from the door seals on both the driver's side door and the rear passenger door on the driver's side. So it looks like it's getting past the door seals, which is a bit of a surprise because by all accounts the new Zoe has better door seals than the older model Zoes. So we've booked it into the dealer and we'll see if we can get them to sort that out. But before we do, because I haven't washed this car in ages, it's actually quite easy to see what's going on, especially on the driver's door anyway. So I just thought I'd do a quick video to show you what to look out for. So you might be able to see the lump in the door seal and also some slightly different coloration where we've got water potentially ingressing here. The seal doesn't look like it's been fitted properly on the door, or perhaps over time that seal has moved. However, we've done very little miles. We've only done just over 3,000 miles in this car, so I think this is something that's happened during the build, but you can see that is probably what's going on there. So that seal is slightly bulging, and that is not then creating a good seal when the door is closed, and that's potentially what's causing the issue. Now moving on to the rear door, the water seems to collect here, but it's actually slightly harder to see where the water is coming from. So there's no issues with the seal at the top. There is a bit of a mark here, but not quite sure whether that's actually related to anything. But certainly the water congregates in the bottom of the door area here. Hopefully that's not too bad as an issue, because it looks like this plastic would stop the water going into the under floor area of the car, but certainly still not an ideal situation, especially for the car that's only got 3,000 miles on it and was new in December 2018. So we'll hopefully get these both seals looked at. Let's have a quick look around the rest of the door frame here, and there's no sort of obvious lumps and bumps and things in the door frame, but unfortunately water can work its way through the smallest of places, and like I say, we've had some very heavy rain here recently, so it's going to show a gap, even if it's a small chink. So from inside the car, when we have noticed this problem, we've noticed it on a couple of occasions. It has been after very heavy rain, and it's in this part of the door here. So it would suggest that if this lump in the seal here is causing the problem, water is coming down and trickling down into here. Now, the amounts of water we're talking about are quite small, so I'm hoping that this isn't going to be a big issue in terms of any damage that it's done below the floor at the moment, but clearly this is an issue that you do not want to have for any length of time, especially on a new car, especially on a car that's in warranty. These things just should not happen unless there has been some work done to a car from the factory. These problems just shouldn't really exist. So I'm very surprised. Okay, it's not the most expensive car in the world, and I'm sure it was built on a very tight budget, but door seals, it seems to be a bit of an oversight. And actually looking at it, and when these problems exist, then you start really looking, and you see these sort of lumpy bits, and you think, okay, that is probably what's causing it. But until you don't, it's a new car, you don't go and inspect it like you would maybe a used car. So a little bit concerning that we're seeing an issue like this on a brand new car. I know that Renault have, from other YouTube videos, when people are comparing, people that have owned the previous Zoe, I haven't, but it was very evident when we test drove the older Zoe that there were more kind of incremental upgrades going on versus between the two cars, and people I know, Craig from the Zoe Owners Club commented on some of this sort of the kind of general uplift of the Zoe. So I was expecting that this might be a problem in older cars, but certainly not new cars. So let's hope it is just a very easy fix. There's all sorts of things that it potentially could be, but on a brand new car, it's very, very unlikely. So yeah, it's a bit disappointing, but we will book it in, get it sorted. At least we've got the there's a kind of the new car service sitting behind us, so we don't have to kind of worry about paying for lengthy investigations and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, certainly not ideal as a kind of new car experience. I think given that this is the first new car I've ever owned, it's the first time I've ever had water ingress issues, on a new car. On any of my cars, and this is a brand new car, so it doesn't really give you the inspiration or confidence, and it's those kinds of things that make you think twice about buying another car from the same brand again. So I've been generally quite impressed with the quality of this car compared to certainly the Zoe previously, some of the earlier models, 2012, 2013 models, 22 kilowatt versions. I've also been impressed with the thunks and the clunks. I was looking for that Renault clunk, the one where you close the door and everything sounds like it's just fallen to pieces. I didn't get that from this car, and I was very surprised. I must say I had probably had low expectations of the car, so my expectations were, way over, what I expected when we took delivery. So, maybe there's some of that, but certainly the doors do sound like they close nicely, much better than the previous model again. So they have done some work there, but hopefully this is just a kind of one-off incident, and this isn't going to be something that's going to plague this car for any length of time, because if it does, then it's gone, and that's going to be a shame, because it's a great little car, and it's also going to be a double shame because actually getting another electric car right now is going to be really difficult, because they're just so rare. New cars are on back order forever, so it's going to be a bit of a pain. Anyway, so that's the first real problem we've had with this car. We've had niggles, we've had bits we don't like, we've had features we don't like, but this is just a fault, which is the first real fault that we've had, physical fault we've had with the car. So as they go, hopefully door seals should be pretty easy to fix, although they do tend to niggle on a bit unless they can find the actual root cause. It does tend to be one of those things where you take it to the dealer and they can't replicate the symptoms, but hopefully they will do. I'm not going to wash the car or wash any of it, so that if there are marks, if there are water marks that the water is leaving as it's leaking through, all of that will be preserved. Anyway, that's my excuse not for washing the car, so I'm sticking to it. Anyway, I shall let you all go now. I'm rambling. Thanks for watching. We shall see you in the next one, which will hopefully be a little bit more regular, as my life gets slightly less complicated. So give it a like, subscribe, do all of those things that every YouTuber tells you to do, because that's what YouTube makes us jump through hoops and do. If you don't like it, then fine, give it one of those dislikes. Don't give a monkeys. But have a great one, and we'll see you in the next one. Okay, so today's the day we get our new smart meter. So let's go say goodbye to the old one.